how do you deal with harassment in higher education? That's what we're discussing in this video. Hi everyone, I'm Leigh from teachingacademia.com, and I'm all about giving you the tools you need to navigate academia to make your best impact. If you're new here, welcome. This is the place to come to get tips, advice, answers to your questions so that you can navigate higher ed and have the career that you want to have. So today, unfortunately, we are going to deal with a topic that has become quite prevalent, and that is dealing with harassment in higher education. This is not something that I had to deal with as a graduate student, but as a faculty member, I've had to deal with it. I have two very memorable occasions, one being from another faculty member towards me, and another from a male student towards me. And I will say the faculty member towards me was female. So female to female, and then male to female. So first of all, just a few things. If you are uncomfortable with someone's behavior, what they're saying to you, what they're doing, anything, you can leave. You can just get up and walk out of the room. You can tell the person to leave. If they don't, you go. You go to a secure place. It could be an office that you can lock. It can be around other people. Where you get yourself where you need to go. You don't need to justify yourself. You don't owe anybody anything. Just go. All right. If you're uncomfortable, go. Don't put up with it. I have a real zero tolerance policy for this nonsense. And the other thing that you need to do is, and unfortunately these people, when they harass us, when you get harassed, it makes a lot of extra work for you. It's emotionally draining. It's exhausting. It can be scary. It can be a number of things, but then you have to, do what you need to do to take care of yourself and make this stop. Because my position on this is that not only am I trying to get this person to stop their behavior, but I want them to learn that they need to stop it, period. Not just stop it with me, but stop it, period. So you have to figure out how you see yourself in this. I see myself as the buck stops here, right? I'm going to do everything in my power to teach you that this is not acceptable, and you're not going to do it towards other people, and particularly towards other women. So after whatever happens to you, and there's obviously a continuum, okay? I experienced a little more of a severe end of the continuum in both of my cases, but you have to decide how severe this was and what you want to do going forward. I highly recommend that you document this. You document it just for your own records, obviously, but you need to put it in an email so it is dated and time-stamped. Even if you only email it to yourself, it is dated and time-stamped, okay? Document what happened, facts only, right? This person said, you said, they did this, you did that, facts only, okay? And do it ASAP. You may not feel like doing it ASAP, but you need to do it ASAP while your memory is still fresh and everything is logged, okay? So, for example, one of the times when this happened to me, when it was a student that was harassing me, I was actually having private meetings with students in my class, and this student was one of them. And he was the first student in that day that I was meeting with. So I had to wait about 3 hours before I could document it. That was the very first time that I had, but then that's what I did. I didn't feel like it, but that's what I did. And then you have to figure out, are you going to go to somebody? Okay. Now, if it's severe enough, I recommend that you go, and you have to decide, right? This is your judgment call. If it's severe enough, I like to get a paperwork trail started immediately. Okay. Now, where you go and how you handle this and how you get that trail started, that is up to you, and you're going to want to find out what the best and appropriate way to do that where you are is. Okay. So for me, at the time, it was going to student affairs, but sometimes it can be going to Title IX. Sometimes you might want to go to a trusted advisor or a trusted mentor to get advice, to run this past them, ask them who you should go to, right? If you want to get some paperwork started. Not saying that you want to file a complaint or a lawsuit, you might, but if nothing else, you want the paperwork you want a paper trail, okay? You want documentation. You might need a mediator. You might want to go to an administrator, a department chair, a dean, etc. So you need to pick somebody, and sort of, if they're not the right person, they can direct you to where to go to start this, okay? The other thing is, in these systems, if you're starting a paper trail, don't put up with any bureaucratic nonsense or people responding in a slow manner. So for example, when I was being harassed by a student, the appropriate place for me to go was student affairs. I did that. I turned in all my documentation. Hey, guess what? They actually knew who this guy was, and they already had like a big old stack of complaints about him from other women. So, I mean, while that certainly annoyed me, it was also comforting to know, I wasn't alone in this. But the thing is that they didn't handle it fast enough. So in my case, they had asked the student to cease contact with me while they, sort of worked some things out, figured out whatever they needed to figure out, talk to him. They were going to put him in a different class, whatever, right? They had some things to resolve. And they asked him to cease contact with me while they did that. Well, he did not cease contact with me. Within 24 hours, he was back to emailing me. And so I wasn't putting up with that. I didn't respond to him, but what I did was I went straight down to student affairs. I walked in and I said, he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And so there are two options here. You can handle him right now and get this in order, or I will go to the police, not the university police, but the police in that town. And I will file a restraining order and I will take this up a notch. Okay. So, and they handled it right then and right there, and they got everything straightened out, and the student understood and went away, and I never had to go file a restraining order. But I was legitimately willing to do that. It was that behavior was that serious, that kind of weird, a lot of red flags behavior, that if student affairs wasn't going to get their act together and do it on my timeline in a way that was going to resolve this, then I would take it to the police. And I'm skipping the university police, going straight to the local police and getting it going. So you do what you need to do, right? On the one hand, you want to get your documentation in order. You want to talk to the people that are going to be appropriate to talk to handle that within the institution. But if they're not handling it correctly, do not sit around and wait for them. Go to the police if you need to go to the police. Do it, okay? Don't put up with it. So unfortunately, this is something we have to deal with. We have to figure out how to navigate this. I think it's our I look at it as my moral obligation to navigate this and shut this stuff down as best as I can. All right, so thanks for watching. Sorry for the, I know it's a rather somber video this time, but let's talk, right? Head on down to the comments and, we can share our stories, support one another. How do you deal with harassment? What questions do you have? Anything that we can help you with so that you can move forward with your academic journey. You can be safe, you can be successful, you can have the career that you want to have.